How do you know if what you and your team are working really hard on every single day, grinding in and out, is actually going to help you accomplish your 2021 goals? How do you know whether the work you're doing every week is going to add up to the type of growth, the type of results, the type of momentum that you need for your SaaS business? Here's the thing, your natural answer is gonna be metrics, but you and I both know with all the different metrics out there, with all the different dashboards that are out there, it can be really easy to start to ignore them or get overwhelmed by them. I've been there. And at the end of the day, you start to just look at the lagging indicators at the end of the year and you kind of look and say, well, we did it or you didn't do it. How do you shift that? What are the key performance indicators, the leading indicators that you can look at every day without getting overwhelmed so you can be sure and certain that you're navigating growth and doing the right work every single day? That's what I'm going to cover in this episode. In this episode, I'm going to give you the 4 key performance indicators, that you should be looking at on a weekly basis so that you'll know ahead of time if you're on track to hit your goals or not. Intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Unstoppable. I'm TK, and on this channel, I help SaaS founders like you grow your SaaS businesses faster with an unstoppable strategy. If you are new to the channel, welcome. I drop an episode like this with action-packed strategies and principles to follow for growing your SaaS business 3 times a week with the TK energy. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell icon. That way you'll get notified every single time I drop an episode. If you're already part of this channel, part of this fast-growing community, if you're part of my SaaS go-to-market coaching program, welcome. It's super awesome to see you over here. And also, Happy New Year. All right, so back when I was at ToutApp, we took on multiple projects to establish management dashboards. And very quickly, they would become overwhelming. Very quickly, we would hit into data analysis, paralysis, and fatigue, and just get overwhelmed because there's just so many metrics that you can look at in a SaaS business. You just don't know which one to look at. Even at Marketo, we struggle as a management team. I'm like, what is our management dashboard? Like, what should we be looking at on a daily basis? Because naturally speaking, when you're operating a SaaS business, you get so mired in the day-to-day details. You're always fighting fires. You're trying to get the next release out. You're trying to make sure the deals are closing and the quarter is on track. But if you don't set up the right metrics to monitor what's going on overall in the macro sense of the business, to predict whether you're going to hit your goals or not, you're going to be in a lot of trouble at the end of the year because you didn't know what was happening and you got lost in the trees and forgot about the forest. I always get confused about that analogy, but you get the picture. So having been at ToutApp, having been at Marketo, executive teams of both, having now we're working with over 50 founders as part of our SaaS go-to-market coaching program. I've now seen my share of management dashboards and SaaS metrics and what really moves needles and what confuses. So in this episode, I'm going to walk you through the 4 metrics that matter the most, the 4 key performance indicators that matter the most for your SaaS business that you absolutely should be monitoring, and will help you really understand in a key performance way on like, well, are we going in the right direction or not? Do we need to zoom into some aspect of the business and diagnose it more without getting overwhelmed? So if you're excited to get, go ahead and smash that like button. Let's go to metric number 1. The key performance indicator number 1 is what I call revenue per lead. Revenue per lead. This is something Jason Lemkin talked about probably like a decade ago when I was first learning about SaaS and really getting into it and really getting into ToutApp. And I always loved it and we always monitored it. Revenue per lead is sort of a composite metric, but the reason I like it as a key performance indicator is because it is a snapshot into how effective your go-to-market machine is. So if you talk to marketing, or if you are marketing, if you're that early, then you might look at, hey, we generated 100 leads. But 100 leads doesn't really tell you anything. How many dollars you extract out of those leads really tells you a lot about how quality those leads are. It also tells you a lot about the effectiveness of your sales process. It tells you, and if you're self-service, it tells you how effective your product-led growth or self-service process is. So revenue per lead is one of my most important metrics because I can look at it week over week, month after month, as we do different marketing activities and spends and run our Broadway show, and we can understand how quality the leads are, how effective we are at converting those leads to real revenue. For every 1 lead that comes in, how much revenue are we generating? And ideally, that should be going up and up and up. And I can start to double click on this and say, well, if it's going down, where is it going down? So that's key performance indicator number 1, revenue per lead. I like it a lot because it really helps you get a glance at how effective your go-to-market machine is going. The second key performance indicator that I absolutely love is just looking at win rates and conversion rates. If you're a self-service business, then I look at conversion rates. If someone started a trial, how many of them actually converted? If it's a sales-driven business, then out of the opportunities that were created, out of leads, what is the win rate? How often are we winning? Now, for conversion rates, 8 to 10% is pretty damn good, and I've seen that at scale. With win rates, it's abhorrent, but 20% is pretty good, and 50% is great. If it's an inbound lead, 50% is awesome for win rates, and you should be able to see that. If it's an outbound, 20% is good, which is kind of low in the grand sense of things, but that's actually considered good in SaaS. So number 2 is I like to monitor our win rates and conversion rates because it helps me understand really specifically, if I'm paying salespeople, how effective are they? If we're ramping up salespeople, is our overall win rate taking a dip? Is it coming back up as we ramp those people? Because then I can dig into that and say, well, why are we losing? Is it a competitive thing? Is it a training thing? And if the win rate is soaring, we can start to say, awesome, like how do we double down on this? So that's the second key performance indicator that I like to look at on a week-by-week basis, quarter-by-quarter basis, because then when you trend it, you can start to monitor changes that are happening in deeper processes in the business. The third key performance indicator that I love is month-over-month growth. Month-over-month growth is super important to know. See, the thing is, if you're a venture-backed business, growth is super important. If you're bootstrapped, growth is still important, right? Like you don't want to just stagnate. You just may be growing at a lower clip. Either way, growth is super important, but we tend to not measure the growth until a quarter later or at the end of the year. But if you measure month over month growth consistently and create a culture where you're thinking about we're on a monthly cadence, we're gonna be thinking about what our month over month growth is, then it creates a higher standard of higher bar for people to be performing. They'll sandbag less. They'll say less, well, like, oh, by the end of the quarter we'll make it up, or by the end of the year we're backloaded at the end of the year. A lot of excuses that sales and marketing teams use to justify underperformance will be eradicated right away because you're saying, no, we're on a monthly cadence. Let's, to the best of our abilities, track month over month. And we can have the conversation to say, look, this month may be slower, but next month is going to pick up because we have these deals in pipe or this many trials in pipe. But month over month growth at that level of granularity is a solid key performance indicator because it forces the conversation about having a higher standard about growth and monitoring for it. I have one more for you, but before I go into that, let me just pause here for a second. You're starting to see the power in this. These are some key performance indicators that are what I call composites. Composites meaning when you look at this number, if it's going up or down and you constantly monitor it, it measures and stress tests big areas of the business, not just one function. And it tells you how effective we're being for critical things, critical parts of the business. And when you actually monitor these week after week and you train your team to look at this week after week, it creates a certain discipline, certain structure, and it forces the conversation to say, well, I get it, we have these deals, but let's zoom out and talk about why this bigger metric is not functioning, and then actually crafts and facilitates better discussions, more detailed discussions to have about the overall machine versus just being stuck inside the business. If you start to see the power of this, how just implementing these three, and I have one more for you, can actually change the level of strategy and the level of strategic thinking you have, how you can kind of zoom out on the business and work on the business instead of being stuck in the business. If you're starting to see the power in this, can I just get a yes in the comments below? Also, if you haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button. Do both. Because A, we love it when you hit the like button, and so does YouTube. Smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. And comment below for me and my team. We love hearing from you. We love meeting people in our community and the type of business that you're building. We also answer any questions that you put in the comments as well. So super important to us. Do both. Also, if you are thinking about what are the right metrics, if you're thinking about what is our one strategy for 2021, I have a 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. In it, I give you the 5 key pillars around creating a growth strategy for your SaaS business. It's super awesome. It's been downloaded thousands of times already. Gotten tremendous feedback on it. I'll tell you more about it at the end of this video, but let's go to principle number 4. Principle number 4, the 4th metric that I absolutely love, is constantly looking at burn and runway. It's scary to look at because it's probably going down if you're not profitable yet, and that's fine if you're in growth mode. But it's just important to look at burn and runway. You should have that number readily available and clear because it'll help you make decisions. If all of a sudden you're crushing it on your metrics, it may be time to invest more. And by investing more, it may reduce your burn, but it's a calculated risk you're taking for more growth. If a bunch of stuff isn't working in your go-to-market machine or in the market, and your burn is shrinking, it may be time to cut some expenses. And that's the right thing to do while you figure out what's working, and then you can double down more. You conserve cash. which is why it's super important to look at this on a weekly and monthly basis. And that way you will actually make better decisions as you go forward. So those are my 4 key performance indicators. And why did I pick these? Because they all work together. Based on these 4 indicators, key performance indicators, if you keep monitoring these week by week, as you look at them, you'll be able to figure out what area of the business to double click on and diagnose and have a conversation around. And that's super powerful. So when you think about it, if you are looking at revenue per lead and it's terrible, it tells you, all right, cool, let's first look at how we're getting these leads and why are they quality or not. If they're quality, then let's look at the win rate and figure out why we're getting choked up here. If they're not quality, then let's double click on marketing and figure out how are we getting these leads. If it's a win rate problem, then let's talk about our sales process and figure out how to fix our sales process. And overall, as we're optimizing on these 2, let's look at our month-over-month growth. If growth is great and burn is fine, maybe we need to invest more here. If these 2 aren't working and burn is high, then maybe we need to reduce the burn and go over here and kind of take our time to fix it. So this all kind of connects together. And with these 4 metrics, these key performance indicators, it helps you kind of look at the overall business, work on the business, and makes better decisions on what you need to do on a day-to-day basis. So to recap, revenue per lead, that's the first one. Number 2, win rate or conversion rate. Number 3, month-over-month growth. And number 4, burn and runway. By the way, one pro tip on this, don't try to create some automated dashboard, pay for some fancy SaaS tool. You don't need that. Even if you set aside 30 minutes every week to look these metrics up and put it in a consistent spreadsheet template, that alone, that practice of looking at that data and filling out that data on a weekly basis will be very, very powerful for you. So those are the 4 key performance indicators that I had for you. If you got value from this video, be sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. Be sure to comment below and introduce yourself. Hit me with a yes so I can hear from you. I love hearing from you guys, so does my team. If you have a fellow founder, if you're part of a founders group, please share this video. We want to spread our message as far and wide as possible. And also, if you want to dig more into this and creating a growth strategy for your SaaS business on how to navigate this right, I'm all about thinking about strategy and execution separately and making sure you spend enough time on strategy. Go down to my 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. You just need to go to getunstoppable.com/strategy, or you can follow the link below. Getunstoppable.com/strategy. It's completely free. 5-point SaaS growth strategy guide. And we go into much more detail on how to craft a 1-page strategy for your SaaS business. I want to thank you for joining. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe. And lastly, remember, everyone needs a strategy for their life and their business, but when you are with us, yours is going to be unstoppable. I'm TK, and I'll see you in the next episode.